Hey everybody, how you doing? Just wanted to do an update video on the Luba 2 robotic lawnmower. Had this for a few months now, and I just kind of wanted to go over some of the pros and cons on this robot lawnmower. Overall, I am very pleased with it. It is definitely a step up from the Luba 1. It does a great job cutting grass, especially in an open area, which I'll explain in a minute. So yeah, I use this probably about once a week or so, and it does my entire yard. I have a very large backyard that goes way back, and for this type of application, this backyard, it does perfect. It is everything you would want in a lawnmower. So if you have acreage or a large yard like this, I would highly recommend this robotic lawnmower. Now it does have some downfalls, but this Luba 2 is a step up once again from the Luba 1. Well, the Luba 1, when it got underneath my deck here, or the sides of my house, not every time, but on the sides it would lose connection, and I'd basically have to go and move the lawnmower myself until it reestablished the connection. So with those smart sensors in this and the camera, it doesn't lose connection anymore, and it will continue to mow in that area, like the sides of my house and underneath my deck. Now, it's not perfect by any means. It doesn't cut perfectly. The lines are not as straight as it is when it has the satellite connectivity, but it still does function, so I can definitely appreciate that. This is with any robotic lawnmower and common sense, I guess, is yes, it's going to do great in your yard, but you still have to weed whack your entire yard, which to me is one of the worst parts about mowing a lawn personally. Maybe not so much around your house, but as you see, my neighbor there has a really long fence all the way back, and weed whacking that to me is a massive pain in the butt. It's a metal fence, so if you don't do it just right, the weed whacking line breaks, and you know what I'm talking about if you weed whack a lot. But that's nothing to do with this robot. I just wanted to throw that out there for someone who maybe didn't realize having a robotic lawnmower, you still had to do that step. I'm sure in the future they'll have one that can do everything, and when they do, holy cow, will that be awesome. Now, going to the side of your house, I have a decent, sight line to the sky. And once again, it works good for having the sensors built in. But it will leave little chunks here and there that it misses because I guess the algorithm or whatever just isn't quite as precise as the satellite itself. So if that bothers you, definitely get the Luba 2 over the 1. Then you won't have to manually come out and move the thing. But it's going to be really hard to get something like this absolutely perfect, in my opinion. I don't think any of the robot lawnmowers out there is going to do a perfect job. But
charging complete.
There you go. Well, speaking about charging, it goes out. If the battery does run low, it'll come back and automatically charge, go back out and finish, no matter how long the task will take. So that's great. It can work in the fully darkness. You can run this at 2 a.m. if you want to. That's a nice little plus, and it's very quiet, so you're not going to wake up your neighbors or keep yourself up. The object avoidance works really well. You can set it to basically have no object avoidance unless this bumper itself gets pushed in, or you can set it to use the camera and the sensors that will do all the object avoidance, and then it won't even get close enough to where it touches that bumper. There's like 4 different settings, and you can set it to however you want. This one does up to 70 millimeters worth of cutting height, and that works quite well. You can raise it all the way down to, I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, it's either 30 or 40 millimeters. It has rain sensors on top, so if it senses rain, a little puddle will collect there at those 2 nubs, and it'll pick up that it's wet, and then it will not go out and cut the grass, because you don't want it to go out on a wet day because the blades underneath and stuff will start to get clogged, like any lawnmower. I've had no issues whatsoever with the wheels and tires. I love these omnidirectional wheels. I personally use it on tank turn mode, and I haven't had it, mess up the yard or dig any ruts or anything like that, so no issues there. The new RTK antenna, in my opinion, will just work so much better and quicker than the Luba 1. It connects right away and it just stays connected much better. I have never had this go outside of the line that I made for the boundaries. I take it all the way up to my street in the front yard, and it turns exactly the same spot every single time, so you don't ever have to worry about this maybe driving a couple feet over into the street and maybe getting in the way of a car. That's never happened. This does have manual mowing as well, so if you do have a small spot, say underneath your deck that it did miss, you can turn it on and drive it yourself and manually cut that area. So that works pretty well. The app, now that they have updated compared to when I originally did the Luba 1, the app honestly back then was terrible. But the new updated app just works really well. It's nice and clean, has so many more features. So they're definitely doing all the hard work and giving you solid updates. Update on this is simple. You just do it through the app. And there's typically an update once every week or two, I think. Basically every time I run it, I see if there's an update, and there usually is. So they're definitely staying on top of what they need to do to keep this up and running the best that it can. Any bugs that people might have, it fixes it right away. So I highly recommend it. I really like this. I actually sold the Luba 1 to my brother. He has a bigger yard on the sides than me, and it works better with a better sight line, if that makes sense. Like my house in between the neighbor here is maybe 20 feet, say, but he probably has about 50 feet. So his connects better overall and doesn't lose connection as much as this one, as much as the Luba 1 did here when I originally reviewed that one. And he loves it. Saves him a lot of time. So if you're looking for one of these, I definitely recommend it. I'm hopefully going to be reviewing more robotic lawnmowers in the future. I am hoping some companies will message me. I do have one on the way. It is not one with GPS like this. It is one that you have to lay down boundary wire. So I will be having some of that content as well on this channel. I'll let you know honestly what I think about that compared to this. Obviously this one's going to win because it's so much more full packed with features, but you can get an idea. You know, the ones where you have to lay the lines are $500 to maybe $1,500 depending on a lot of things. And then this guy, this is the Luba 2 5000 all-wheel drive. This one is almost $3,000, so you can kind of see what you pay for. All right, guys, if there's anything you want to see specific on this, I can knock out a couple like YouTube shorts and talk about it. But overall, I definitely highly recommend this. I think it works really good. Once again, it's really, really good for a large backyard like this. Now, if you have a small yard with a very small front and sides and back, say maybe a quarter of this backyard, honestly, I think you should just go out and mow it yourself. This could do it, yes, but for the money and a small yard, you can just buy a battery-powered regular lawnmower with self-propelled and get it done quicker and just as good as this. However, most people with a small yard is not going to be looking at something like this. So if you have a large yard like mine, absolutely recommend it. I think my yard is not even half an acre. I could be wrong, but if you have something like 3 acres or something, highly, highly recommend it. This will just go out and keep that yard looking great. And you don't have to worry about it, because like I said, even if it takes, say, 8 hours to cut your entire 3 acres, it's just going to come back and automatically recharge, and you don't even have to worry about it. So once again, highly recommend for a large yard. All right, guys, do me a big favor, like this video and subscribe, and leave a comment below with any questions you have on this, and I will tell you my honest opinions. Talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.